I'm going to do a training video on how to make perfect pancakes. And the first thing I want to go over, especially for the older bus drivers out there, is general appearance. Nobody, and I mean nobody, wants to look at something like this before eating.
Or after.
So,
What to do?
in an effort not to, all these pancakes want to be gone, in an effort not to turn people's stomach.
He's saying that I should button my shirt before breakfast. Is that what we're hearing?
Try to do something like this. How's that?
Very good.
Much nicer.
Very good. Yeah, that looks much nicer.
Well, you might want to. All right. And then in the general appearance thing, of course, there's the stoves. They're beautiful. And there's not too much we can do about this. This is something I've been working on for 17 years. And the stoves are the ugliest, gnarliest looking things in the world. But in general, we're going to work with what we got. We can't change anything. Notice I've displayed the things that look like they cost a lot of money out here where people see them. With food, and believe you me, we can't do it for $3. So you might as well get what you can out of real maple syrup. And here's a nice sweaty watermelon here. Look at that baby.
Yeah,
Now, I think about these things. That's why I'm the boss. And I've had this watermelon on ice for a couple of days. And fresh squeezed orange juice, one of my favorite things. The folks have been up for a while, so have I. We've got the water hauled.
Yeah, we did.
The coffee's on. Hot water, extra hot water already here. And then you find a coffee drinker. You gotta think. Huh?
Hey, good morning.
Good morning.
That was me, huh?
Thanks a lot. Do you like my outfit?
His ensemble.
We're all right, though. We got the liquid scene covered right now. Orange juice. And we're gonna start. And here it is. I've lined up the ingredients a bit. The secret, there's lots of secrets to a good pancake. We mix the dry ingredient flour. Fine grind, it gives you that nutty flavor, the whole wheat kind. And here's some unbleached white. Pretty healthy enough. And we've got about 30 people eating pancakes this morning. But I'm gonna make pancakes for 40 because they're gonna be good. And the way you do it is, there's a 5-pound package. If you got 30 or 40, you start out with a 5-pound. You want 5 pounds of flour, so we'll take half the unbleached white.
Where are my boots? It's getting deep.
And half the whole wheat pastry.
This is worth an eating.
First, we're going to mix together the dry ingredients. But first, on the subject of thinking ahead, you got to think about, you got to get someone separating the egg whites. So you ask, this is important too. You find somebody in the group who looks like they could do a good job. Someone who looks like they've cooked before. A couple of bowls.
The man that just left, well, he's very good at it.
And we need someone to make fruit salad too. Time is of the essence. You got to keep an eye on someone. She might be good. Now, if they're not good and they need to practice, you have them break the whites and yolks over a little separate bowl so they don't get any yellows in it. But she's good. I can trust her. Now, the important thing about
don't
this...
play cards with her.
One of the most leave stuff out that you don't want opened or cut, it'll be gone because people are dying to help and they love to cut and open things. So I look around and I make sure that everything that's out here I want eaten today. Otherwise I hide it under the table. But things look good. We'll hide this wine bottle out under the table too because it's the morning after margarita night and we don't want to ruin anybody's time. So look, I got that going. There. 1 pound, more or less. What's next? The dry ingredients. 2 types of flour. Here's where I was when I left off. You got to think about what's going to be holding up the meal. And right now, what's basically holding up the meal is pancakes, so I ought to shut up. But there's other things that'll hold up the meal. Just when you think you got it, you realize you forgot something. There's the yogurt, sour cream, dressing mix, fruit salad. We've been on the beach now 3 or 4 days and we're starting to run out of colorful stuff. That's why I got out the watermelon.
You should have left your pants
It's got to be pretty.
You should have left the other shorts on.
All right, the flowers. We got the 2 flowers. Now this is bad. Here's Here's baking powder. This is important. Now, it's unfortunate that this baking powder is old, and there isn't an awful lot of it. And if my pancakes come out flat, without air in them, balls.
Patrick's fault.
Then they're trapped. That's right. Now, baking soda is in every Green Tortoise kit, baking soda. But as far as I can see, it's good for nothing. The people don't understand the difference between baking soda and baking powder. I don't even know what you use baking soda for. But here's the powder. It's bad for you.
Taking the smell out of your refrigerator.
It's got aluminum in it.
There's another type. This is the worst type for you. Avoid Clobber Girl and use Royal. Or is it Royal that doesn't have the aluminum? One of them has no aluminum.
I thought they all.
Well, and then there's health food baking powder, and it doesn't work. So,
Right.
so I'm
But it's healthy.
This is a 10-ounce baking powder, and I'm going to use about 3 ounces of it, spread over the... Oh boy, that's not much. I wish I had more, but it's okay. And now a little salt. Do this, but salt brings out flavor. That's about enough right there.
That's something acidic with baking soda will work, like sour milk or buttermilk.
We could kick it off with that, huh?
That's what makes it go.
So now the salt's mixed in. Now to avoid little nasty pockets of concentrated materials, you blend these dry ingredients with a spoon. I'll be right back because I need a spoon, a whisk, and put it out on the fruit salad isn't doing a goddamn thing.
Oh,
The eggs are coming
what
out
happened
beautiful.
to?
We need a few fruit salad cutters here.
Yeah, come get into the
Come
video.
on.
You do?
Fruit salad.
We need people to cut fruit salad.
I got it set up.
Honey. Okay, the dry ingredients are blended together. Baking powder, salt, 2 types of flour, in about the right amount. We're going to need some honey. Oh, sour milk. I used the milk that was furthest from the ice. There's a chance it's sour, but it's okay. You can use sour milk in pancakes. There's a tendency around the Green Tortoise to use buttermilk. I think it's wrong. Well, you got plenty of butter in there anyhow. And the sour milk, I mean, and use whole milk. There's no sense in using 2% milk. I mean, if you're going to have a pancake, you might as well have one, and they can just eat fewer of them.
Damn straight.
Isn't that the truth, though, huh? Here's the butter here. Now, this is an interesting moment.
The concept of low-calorie brain.
This is an interesting part here. The butter, if you melt the butter, the first thing you got to watch out is for burning it. You don't want to burn the butter. I haven't. And I'll just put a little bit of this in. But lots of times the butter, lots of times the butter will start to cook or congeal in your mix. So I'm going to dilute it a little bit. And it's already starting to congeal. That's kind of unfortunate. But we're going to dump it in anyhow. We'll just keep in globules.
Yes.
Uh-huh.
They're my particular vein.
Boy, she's done a beautiful job on those eggs. There is not one single tiny bit of yellow in those eggs. All right. Now we need, pancakes in general don't taste like much. And you got to do something for them. And I make mine fairly on the sweet side. With lots of honey.
It's better than that.
Now in with the wet ingredients go the egg yolks.
You on the book today?
Here comes the last egg yolk. Whoo-wee. Oh, incidentally, there's 18 eggs. And if you're making pancakes for 60, you don't have to go that far up on the eggs. You can get by with 24 eggs. Thank you very much. Now you have to really watch this egg white stuff. This is important. What you want to do is separate your egg whites in half. Because well, this trick is the essence of it all. Hola. Muy bien. ¿Y usted?
Bien, gracias.
Este video es para entender mis chauffeurs, cómo cocinar pancake. Soy estrella.
Estrella.
Sí.
Estrella de la cocina.
Oh, sorry.
Como te ve. Okay.
What happened to our video, man? Oh, here he
Yeah,
is.
it's beautiful. It's really great.
Your first time in this camp, huh?
Yeah, I like it.
Here?
In the winter time, it would be too windy, right? Way too windy. But I like it here a lot. That's beautiful.
And this time is very different than the other years.
Uh-huh.
It's not very hot.
Yeah, right. We're really lucky.
What I do with my car.
3 or 4 months ago, I think this time is maybe very hot. But it's not hot. It's a little more hot.
Uh-huh. This is Juan Castro, incidentally, of Cabo Pulmo fishing guide.
Oh, wonderful.
Yeah, Mr. Castro.
How do you do?
An old friend of the Green Tortoises. Now, we take this 2 parts of egg white and we put it down underneath here. We are hiding half the egg white for use later. It's hidden. No one will, if we put it anywhere else, it would either be thrown away or used prematurely, and I would much prefer to have sand kicked in it than the other 2 things. The fruit salad people. Notice I mentioned the fruit salad a while ago, the person who was cutting it totally split. Now it's the fruit salad that's going to hold the whole damn thing up.
Sure, you do speak good English.
What happened to the fruit salad people?
Para estudio? Estudios? In Guatemala para...
Oh, here's a fruit salad person.
Un poco. Tu hija es en
Grant and Lauren.
Sí, con su
From, where did you say you were from, Grant, Lauren? Down in Santa Cruz area, just below San Francisco. I've been down
This fruit
there.
salad thing is getting serious.
She,
We've got a boat ride in an hour and
Oh, sorry, Gene.
yeah, we got a boat ride in an hour and we don't want these pancakes to hold things up. And over here what I'm doing is I'm preheating these pans. Preheating is very distribution to the heat, as opposed to hot spots right in the middle of your pan. See, of course, it's the kind of thing where everyone keeps coming along and wanting to turn your burners off because they hate waste. Oh, has anyone seen the wisp over there? We want to whip those egg whites up. Marla, you're not in the mood for me, are you, Marla?
no.
I can tell.
No, you're fine, Gardner.
So I'm going to get these six pans going. This is a small trip. There's only 30 people. You can cook pancakes for 60 on a setup like this.
Oh my gosh.
And because of the new grill at Cow Creek, I'm afraid that pancakes for the masses on Coleman stoves is going to become a lost art. And that's one reason why I'm making this video, because we can cook a hell of a lot of pancakes. You don't have to wait in line. Lines are bad news. Here's a little bit of a problem. This is the one I melted the butter in. And butter does a weird trick. Butter burns. Oil doesn't. Do not try to fry the cakes in butter. You won't. You might get a golden, beautiful, sweet little glossy finish, but chances are you're going to get charcoal, burn, smelly. So what I want to do is wipe this out. See what it mixes.
Mix a little oil and it doesn't burn either.
Mix oil with. Yeah, see, too many cooks. You've heard about too many cooks? They're telling me how to make my pancakes now. They're probably right. See, this is one meal that I'm very proud of. It's funny, there's a certain irregularity to pancakes. Like I say, if mine come out lousy, today it's going to be the baking powder. There's also a tendency to go towards prepackaged mixes. I would look like a moron. Anyone can make a prepackaged mix. But when you make your pancakes from scratch, here's a, let's do a little bit of Coleman stove stuff, because this video is for beginners as well. Move on over here and take a look at my Coleman stoves. Right? Oh, there's a beauty, huh? We're trying to avoid this. This is bad. I'm afraid that someday hot water is going to spill on a baby in a system. But let's look at this. It's absolutely the worst. This thing is up through here. Now this is important. Insertion of the heating element. Too many people just go like this. And what do you get? You get a flamethrower that's just, it could be dangerous. So you put it up through here like this. Boy, these are dirty buggers, aren't they, huh? Up through here like... No, and look how that way the handle keeps the hose in. And that's much safer. You don't have this thing falling out. Look, it's almost spring-loaded. Every one of them is done properly here in my kitchen. And then there's another thing about the stoves. The element that takes the heating, the burner that takes the heating element, the one on the right, always gets too hot. Observe here. We've got this pan steaming and this pan not doing anything. So what we want, auxiliary burner all the way. The auxiliary burner thing is right here. There's a little wing nut, kind of a wing thing. That runs the auxiliary burner.
Where's the auxiliary burner?
The auxiliary burner's on the left.
Okay.
But the primary burner, right here, always gets too hot. So then you do the old Green Tortoise
Could y'all...
switcheroo. So you take your one that's burning too hot, and you put it on. You just keep on switching these babies around. Okay. Now let's turn this one down. The preheat's real important. And we'll start seasoning now with some oil.
Smells good already.
Yeah.
Don't want to use it. Here's some recycled oil. We'll just use a little bit to season the pans and then wipe it out. Has anyone seen other oil?
There's a pan of it under the table.
Yeah, that's more falafel oil. Yeah, Lyle's gone for some new oil. Now you can check on the fruit seam. Now, 9 times out of 10, we make too much fruit salad. Look at those egg whites. Ooh, wow, those are beautiful. I'd say you got it. Okay. She's got the egg whites absolutely perfect. Stiff, but not dry. And now I've got this mess over here that I've left too long.
Mess. What kind of quality control is this?
And this is an important part of the job. Now that I have to go get some more milk. Sometimes you can cut it with water. If you run out of milk, you can cut it with water. Oh, we need the honey too. Patricia.
Yeah, Gardner?
You know what's bad?
Gardner?
Right here.
The honey.
Not in the...
Yo no soy jardinero. Yo no soy jardinero, soy el capitán.
Soy gringo loco. Trabajo en el sol todo día.
Jimmy, you want some orange juice?
Como un lunatic. Lunatic?
Hey, Gardner, you should show how the wash is set up too.
The wash thing, yeah. Okay, here we go. This is really coming out beautiful.
Loco. Loco is lunatic, no?
Uh-huh. Yeah, more or less, but Luna is...
I want to get it right away. Lunatico.
Yeah, Lunatico.
Yeah, sure.
Doing good here. Oh, the honey.
I love Angus.
I never found honey yet.
Ralph said he had the honey.
That's really expensive, I thought.
Right at the end of the table. Big metal can.
Okay, here's the honey, folks.
Uh-huh.
Just don't say
Yes, yeah, for color.
Gee, I'm really...
An intelligent question has been asked. Do we do the watermelon, the sweaty watermelon I pointed out earlier? Yes, of course. And we need it for color more than anything. Let's see the cantaloupes. Yeah, they're in there. Okay, so here we go. We, ooh-wee.
Yum and rolling.
Okay. That's probably enough honey. You can taste the batter when it's raw if you're confused. This is the only opportunity we get to control consistency here. Right now. After you blend those egg whites in, you don't have an opportunity to change the mix without pounding the air out.
Where's my knife?
And we used to use egg beaters, and it's probably still a good idea. But truly, oh, there's some nasty globs of glutinous substance.
Makes it sound delicious.
But we're doing good here, and I don't see many globs in here. Does it taste good?
The little lizard is on the...
Mi tiempo se va.
Okay.
Mi tiempo es oro. Ahorita. Gusto en saludarte. ¿Ok?
Mucho gusto.
Ok. Tal vez nos vemos esta noche o mañana.
Muy bien.
Mucho trabajo.
Yo entiendo.
Mucho
Es
trabajo.
un tiempo muy especial ahora.
Debemos aprovecharlo.
Ajá.
Aprovechar nada.
Adiós.
Adios.
Uh-huh. Okay, consistency. I think we about got it. And this is the. Now we're keeping an eye on our burners. Oh, geez. I have to find someone to delegate authority to. Can someone take over here on the actual preparation of these? You need more oil? We're just gonna. Yeah. Move the oil down.
Are you going swimming?
What, honey?
Are you going swimming?
Here we have something that's definitely too hot.
Yeah.
Ow.
Typical scene. The side with the prongus going in is too hot. So we can do the old switcheroo. And maybe take a cold one over here. That seems to be a cold burner. That's what you want to burn. You're not going to give up on this like you did on the fruit salad. You're going to stick with this, right? Because that's the other part of this. You get people that want to help, right? They come along, they say, oh, let me cook pancakes. And they fuck up about the first 10, and then they get a good one, and then they take it away. Yeah, and that's the end of them. So,
Give me the bottom line.
pancake cooking is a commitment. It's just not something that you do because it looks like fun.
Sounds like a religious thing.
See, we got this right side burning too hot. That's because the left side wasn't turned all the way up. Whoa. Now we're getting to be in good shape. We need someone to open the blueberries too. Now I prefer fresh fruit, but we're running out of fresh fruit. And a little bit of fresh fruit. Summertime, you can have raspberries, you can have blueberries, you can have strawberries. Banana pancakes are really tough though. They tend to make it heavier. So we're gonna now pour off half the liquid like this.
Thank you.
This the reason to do this. I'm pouring off half the liquid, more or less.
You guys aren't taking seeds out, huh? I'm taking seeds out. I'm over here getting quality control.
So half the liquid's gone, and here's these beautiful egg whites. And
Let's
you're
see.
gonna put them in like this, unblended on the bottom, but that's not Linda's style. You can trust her in the kitchen.
I eat the seeds, Charlotte. Oh, you're
She
kidding.
disappeared. She'd be a good one to back up Cincy on the
I
cooking.
don't like it.
So this is important now. This is blending. The idea of the whole thing is to introduce air into the mixture. And look at this. We're going to fold in with uplifting strokes, introducing air. Look at that. It's like Mount Vesuvius. We might not even, you don't want to overfold it. You just keep on uplifting motions. Drag that stuff up from the bottom and get some air in there. And then you got, look at that. I'm not going to do much more. Well, a little bit more. She did such a good job on these whites. They've got to be broken up a little bit. But soon enough, the fondlers will arrive to undo your good work. They'll, they will. And we don't.
I'll back you up on pancakes.
Well, will you? Good. Ralph is going to. Ralph here is our first naturalist on the scene. The Green Tortoise's first trip with a naturalist. He's into wilderness first aid too. Boy, that was a lot of work, huh? That turned out to be a big thing, huh? Well, we sure used it.
That's fine.
Yeah. Okay. Now,
A nice
the shape of the implement to ladle with is important. I'm going to go get you a more perfectly shaped implement.
Well, I never have my life.
And this is important because, oh God, this is going to be a mess. What we got here is a number of problems still. We have got stoves that aren't level, sagging to one side in every instance. So I'd look around for some rocks. Here's an old knife, an abandoned knife. And maybe we can get it up like that. Now we need a rock, or a stick, about an inch tall. That's beauty. You could use more of those. The blueberries open. Yeah, that's much better. Can you level these up for me, Ralph? And
I'll give you half a
Here's another.
I was looking for the F40. I couldn't find it. I'll put 8 on it.
time for the old switcheroo here. We're always out of. This one's, boy, we need. Here are
Someone gave
a little bit ill-equipped. The absence of pot holders is a real drag. There they are. Okay. So what I'm going to do is dump the oil out. This is quite a thing, you know. You got to keep track of everything. The fruit salad. Now, if I'd left too much fruit out by now, it would be all cut, and we'd have more fruit than we could ever eat. But I hid the fruit. It's a good thing they didn't get to the bananas underneath there. We'd have a case of bananas cut up. That's not being fair to the passengers on this trip who've been on the road with us now for 5 or 6 days. That makes a huge difference. Actually, they know what's happening. Oftentimes, I cook pancakes for the first breakfast, which is kind of like a wild show. Lyle has strained out some of the juice. There's this fever to use all the juice all the time, but you can't really use this juice for much. It's full of sugar. What I'm going to do, though, is take this and sprinkle. So he strained the juice off, and again, this is where you can screw them up. All that work of introducing air, and if you just go kerbloop, then you've got a big bundle of blueberries. But instead, we've spread it out. Okay. And remember, I was talking about the shape of the ladle. You kind of come in the uplifting motions. You come in like that, without and lift up. You introduce air instead of mashing down. Now, the first ones don't come out very good much, but I'm a believer in the whole pan to fill up the whole pan. It's if you have your pans preheated, it's great. These are going to be good. Of course, now it's too late to have thought about. Oops, we got an uneven one there. It's too late to have, and rather than lay this back down in here, that would be bad. Just concussions, and don't start mashing in. Let's fondlers. I make kind of a joke out of it. The pancake fondlers. Those are the people you got to watch. They come along with the spatula and they start poking at your pancakes, turning them over prematurely, pounding away on them. Boy, these are going to be lovely. I do say so myself. As soon as you start your pancakes, you'll find that the pans cool down a little bit when you start laying the batter in. So sometimes a slight adjustment is in order. And over here we're doing pretty damn good. There's a little too much oil in this pan. I probably should have poured more oil off first, but I got too much oil in general. And on your first cake, I find you're better off with more oil than not enough. Think about water. A Green Tortoise cookie bee in the old Western movies, you know, where they go, boil the water, boil the water. Well, that's what it's like here. There's never enough hot water. It's especially true in the wintertime. Again, calling attention to passenger safety. This is terrible. There's little children in the camp. I know a guy who got burned all over by a pot falling off a stove. But even with what we've got to work with here right now, we can still be careful and not set things up so that they're going to be Is everything fine?
Yeah, Cardi, we need something to put these on.
She wants something to put them in.
Sorry. See that.
This coffee? We're doing good.
Are we going to make some yogurt?
Yeah, we can. Here's the time to watch the fruit salad. A full bus, a 35-passenger bus, a 40-passenger bus, will eat one heaping bowl of fruit salad. And it's hard to say this time on this trip, but we've consistently had fruit salad left over. So I'm inclined to fruit. And we got lots of melons. So I'd be inclined to tell them to put this last melon in. And we got plenty of apples. Throw in a few more apples. And you got to keep watching these guys.
Yeah, we need a plate.
Ralph may be a fondler.
You need a plate.
We need a plate.
I'll get one.
Okay. He went for an early flip. And, excuse me. Yeah, he flipped her.
What about that one?
That looks real good.
On the other side, we need a plate.
Okay, they're getting a plate. Okay, now she had a hot one there. I'm a little disappointed, very disappointed. These pancakes are not airy and light. And the reason there is either too much oil in that pan and the pancake soaked it up, or else this baking powder is dead. I think that baking powder went dead. I think that's a shame. So
is there a way you could rescue it?
I'm not aware of one. Big enough eggs are helping, but that baking powder must have been really lazy. Good one.
Try baking soda and just a little bit of vinegar and lime juice. Not enough to taste it.
Yeah.
Will that really lighten it up?
Baking powder is baking
Oh, you
soda.
have the powder.
The credit out of the garbage.
Where'd I put that baking powder? Soda.
Throw it away.
Ralph says a little bit of this.
Plus the lime juice. Fizz, yeah.
But
But the lime juice in first. Fizz, want to show you.
Yeah.
It's on the table.
Saturday morning after my route tonight, this is not going to be like this. Isn't that better? Now people might want to eat one of my pancakes.
No, I haven't.
Can you chop that? This might be easier.
That's okay. What is it? Too many cooks for
Hey.
You put in maybe a tablespoon and then half a tablespoon of this stuff.
Ooh.
I figured that.
Wow.
I did it.
I never did.
That was this first day we were out there.
Damn good here, though. Has the plate arrived?
Yeah, there's another one. Want another plate too?
No, that's fine.
Like, I shouldn't be here. And,
You got surged on it?
We need it out. And now you have to start thinking of appearance. I'm going to take some of these elements and put them down here. And it's getting to be time to serve.
We need to...
We need to start clearing some
I think this
space.
box of fruit can go for one thing. And that,
The fruit underneath there and maybe use it later.
There's another hole over there somewhere.
And here's my batter underneath here that I'm hiding. Now the reason I split the batter in half is because fondlers, the atmosphere, everything can take the air out of those cakes. And now you check to make sure that they're cooked through, and they are. And they look good.
I couldn't find another flipper, so I can't help.
no, I think there are only two.
There's 4 cans there of blueberries.
Get them in there soon. Thank you.
Those would take forever. Flip it.
Juan came down just to... Were you here when he was here?
He has he's cooking a dinner tonight for 5 of the people from the other camp. It's a lobster salad or something like that with Maria rice and peas and 2 times the tortillas and
You heard what Patrick's trying to cook up.
what?
It sounds like there's a giant goat roast down there that sounds more like Juan Castro than anybody else.
No, they bought the goat from Tito and it's just a gringo thing.
Patrick's thinking we ought to go down there.
I know.
Sounds like a pretty good idea.
And eat their goat.
That's the gringos. They got more goats than they need.
Yeah.
They have 2 goats, they claim. That's
That's what they
Well, I
bought.
just want to get rid of this stuff. Here, right in here.
So that's something.
so.
But I'm going to announce it anyway and see if anybody wants to do it. It's $10 a head. I had people complaining to me that the only problem about the trip is they didn't get to interact with the locals.
Yeah, right.
So this is their chance.
That's a definite problem. This beach is worse for less interaction too.
Yeah.
That's why I invited Jesus up last night. You know, I figured it would be great.
It's warm. Everything, use hot water to mix up the flour. It's warm when it starts.
You said no, but you said you tried to him yesterday. Mario?
Yeah.
He's down on the beach right now. Yeah, and he came up while I was just waking up and hablaed about calm weather and a beautiful day and how he was going to start out from down here.
Okay.
And I didn't have the brains at the moment to ask him for breakfast.
Too late. I wouldn't turn it down.
He's down there rather shyly waiting on the beach, and I thought this would be a great moment to get him up.
We can flip.
I'll switch them over.
Yeah.
Cinnamon.
Will be instanter.
So to go through the scene, that's no, this is coffee, espresso. Here's the maple syrup. Here's the honey. Everything's fine. There's one thing we don't have. I'm sure there's other things we don't have. But those are light enough, aren't they now? Are they?
Right.
You need to do the old switcheroo.
I've been doing this.
Okay, thank you. We're not quite ready to serve you. What you want to do is you want to build up a pile of pancakes before you...
What do I do?
didn't want?
He didn't want it.
Ralph, you terrible man.
I'm gonna make you eat it.
I'll eat it.
Sure.
Oh, hey, that's
One other thing we need, and that's the yogurt salad dressing mixture.
Make sure you take it out.
I want
These two things.
the yogurt salad mixture is 2 parts yogurt, 1 part sour cream, and a little bit of cinnamon, even less nutmeg, and some honey. And I usually put the wet ingredients in first and spice towards the end because it's a little prettier. But in this case here, consistently this stuff left over too on the trip. So what I would prefer to do is just use about half, and there's my 1 yogurt and half sour cream. And I'll save the sour cream for a while. And we're going to blend this into something. Who knows what? Anybody seen a blending element around? Water's precious here in Baja.
Holding them.
And this kind of thing is expedience. I think I'll use this.
do the same thing. See them
Even though there's a little, here's a clean one.
Hang on, I'm gonna have to put a little more oil.
So we want the honey again. This thing doesn't, I always like to leave a little bit of the raw ingredients out. A little bit of yogurt.
Let it sit. They get too hot or they get too cool.
Because there could be purists around, and they might not want my idea of a fruit salad dressing. Allergic to sour cream, but not to yogurt. Or they just may want, when you're serving Green Tortoise meals, you want to retain the largest percentage of personal choice possible. In other words, you want to blend in the name of a good meal, blend things together. But on the other hand, you want to leave things separate so people can have freedom of choice. That's what it is.
What you want.
What you want, right. So I'm going to leave the sour cream out like this, and I'm going to put some yogurt beside it with spoons in it. And what I'm after now is a little cinnamon and nutmeg. This is a nice looking pile here.
Mm-hmm.
Whoa.
Just when you said it, we add the pancake from
I
now.
already put
Cut!
We are running out of foamy ones. Well, see, they should be foamed up. This bottom down here.
Oh. How'd they get foamed? From the egg?
No, from the aluminum base.
Andy, you're a
Is
fiddler.
there any one of the big ones or the little ones?
He's looking for cinnamon. There's Ben coming over to help him. And Lyle, his son.
Oh, in a square tin. There it is.
I think they're waiting for a pile. I'm gonna kill this.
We usually have too much cinnamon and too much nutmeg. Too much nutmeg in Green Tortoise kitchens.
Can we start? Can we start eating? I mean, yeah, I'll eat this.
Ask the boss.
Gardner? Hey, the boss.
Yes.
You want people to start feeding?
We could move them over to here and go get another plate.
Okay, leave this plate here. Thank you.
Designer knives, I like that. That's a
Ready for another pour over there?
Each. And then you stand back and you try to figure out what you need next. Dishwater. It's amazing. You might need dishwater, right? Obvious. Put on the dishwater if you got an empty burner. How's the coffee going? How are the poor tea drinkers doing? What else? Oh, the general appearance again. Oh, the flow. When you're dealing with a large crowd, serve off both sides of the table. Keep your stuff in the middle. Oh, look, we don't have a spoon. We need a spoon. One little missing implement like this. And before you know it, everyone's standing there. The line isn't moving. And it's your job to keep that line moving.
Yes, you can grab a plate and
Your job.
thank you. Back behind the bus.
Oh, very good. Very good. It
They are delicious.
looked delicious.
After breakfast time. Would you like a bite?
Oh,
The Melmac goes on
thank you. Very good.
Now don't
I must
hold that thing in your eyes so long you miss out on the experience, young lady.
Right. Oh.
Okay. Everybody. Are they good? Good. I'm
It
glad.
turned out to be very good. You
Yeah.
gave me a bite. Yep.
Well, there's lots of pancakes. Don't worry. Done filming for a minute, though.
You
I'd
think
like to
so?
take you around later, or even now, and show you the kitchen and some things that I know are wrong with my kitchen, and a few things that I know are right.
Okay.
Yeah, this
But I think I'm going to watch the cakes for a while. We'll take a break. Huh?
Okay.
Thanks.
I know.
Famous fruit salad.
Real maple syrup.
Yeah, nothing but the best. We'll turn that over. No one will know the difference. This point is to kind of look around and see what's happening. The flow is going good off the serving. There's barely enough spoons. We're serving the yogurt with the spoon with the holes in it, which is a little curious. But that's how that's working out. And the pancakes are looking good. The folks up on the burners, this is the moment when the people who've been cooking pancakes and have really learned how to do it decide they want to eat some. So they split. Meager Beaver, who'd never been in the kitchen before in his or her life, and then your pancakes go to hell, the last batch. Just when they could be good. Some eager beaver with a guilt complex because they haven't done anything decides to start cooking them. The first thing that person does is turn up the heat and ruin everything. Tell them to stay with it. And you look in here, and you see that you're running out of batter. So now's the moment to whip your other batter up. And here, remember that batter I saved?
Yeah, that was hidden down there.
all of these people are still in
This egg yolk up.
Lyle just walked off with a knife. Lyle just walked off.
We can start whipping this
Boat
egg yolk
trip is
up
at 9 o'clock,
because
the
we're
first
almost
one,
out here.
and the
And I'm
second
going to
one
hurry
is
off
gonna
for
be
the
at
whisk.
3. How to split it up? I hope it just works out. If it doesn't, I don't know what to say. I guess I don't have the original list. So, but the people that were on the original list for this morning are definitely some of the 9 or 7. We should try and split it up sometime. That sounds
And
great.
there's the good stuff in there.
The family is going to make sense.
Yeah, it does.
All right.
3 and you're 3.
There's a good argument for keeping the blue stuff out. Dell just poured the blue stuff, the juice that I always want to throw away. He just poured the juice all over his pancake. And if that's pancake, that's fine. Because that blue stuff is cheap. And maple syrup costs a lot of money.
Or if you're determined to go in the morning, you can
Hey, we're getting this right look into the egg whites. Again, the same thing. Introduce air. I don't know much about cooking, really. But now this, we're whisking this air in here. And boy, oh boy, pretty soon we're going to start to get peaks. And that'll be just right. Stiff but not dry. Right now it's not stiff. It's still plenty wet. But definitely not stiff. Boy, we're just going to make this right in time. Notice, you know, if you're standing around, if you're a bus driver and you're standing around at a cookout and not thinking about it, you're not doing your job. Because there's always something. I'm sure there's something going on behind my back that if I was thinking, I'd be looking this way instead and thinking what's going on. The other thing you can do is try to give this job to somebody else. Try to involve them in the process. Most of the people who ride the tortoise really want something. They want to help, you know. But somehow the expedience, things seemed under control. Here we go, we're there. That looks pretty good. That's it. See that nice little peak there? That's beautiful.
What's this?
It's just leftover.
Looks like possible syrup.
Blueberry juice.
That's batter. I want to try a little bit of your baking soda and lime juice.
It's right here. The baking soda there. There's just a piece of the lime. Lime juice is a reefer box.
This is an experiment, huh?
Hi, Mom.
Putting baking soda and lime juice.
Well, we think that the baking powder was kind of dead, and we're not really getting a real light, fluffy cake. In fact, that's like a little flying saucer, that poor thing. Incidentally, that's the end. That's the end of the first half, and that's a strong indication That's a good argument if I've ever seen one. Split your batters in half. Okay. How much, Ralph, do you think?
I've been purified by my time in the
Same as you use baking soda, and then just a little bit of lime juice, not enough to change the taste. Not enough to change the pH. Yeah, I'd throw it in there and stir it around.
So this is an experiment, just a little bit of baking soda. Like I say, I don't really understand baking soda. I don't know why it's in the kits. I'm no chemist. It to be particularly useful, but maybe I'm about to learn something. And how much? Just the juice of a couple of limes?
1 lime.
Ralph says that the lime juice here will interact with that baking soda and give us light, fluffy cakes. But I'll tell you, the one single thing we've done for these cakes today is we've had this second batch of beautiful egg whites. Stand back, Ralph. Now we get down here, and the same old thing, these uplifting strokes. Oh yeah, those are great. There's the up. I saw him mashing the. I like the.
Box. No, they're in the box at the end. No, just it. The serving.
They were fondling they were mashing the serving implement into the thing the last time I checked. I'm sprinkling these. If you do strawberries, you want to cut the strawberries about as thin as $half. If you do bananas, you want to cut them thin too. Don't do bananas. They're too soft and smushy to start with. But basically, with fruits, you want to, because if you keep the fruits whole, you maintain those little flavor bursts. Keep it together.
We're doing the same thing. So to speak. Yeah. We're waiting for Gardner.
This is not working out.
We're just going to be rude here.
What?
And get.
Oh, they need
Andy,
this plate. Sorry.
That was mean. You should not have taken that away from me like that.
I'm trying to be helpful.
I know.
These guys are fighting over the last lousy cakes of the first half. A few people have walked up to me and said, great. Now, if you're the kind of bus driver who thinks you make good pancakes, but people aren't coming up to you and saying pancakes I ever ate in my life, chances are your pancakes are hideous. This myth that you make, don't try to fool yourself. If they're really not, has anyone here had the best, what do you think?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
One of the best.
That's the best you're going to get out of me.
They're probably not good enough. One of the best.
One of the best you didn't
Kind of a...
No.
Kind of a, you could science driving a sucker.
Makes good pancakes. There's Barbara from L.A. Look at this. This is going to be beautiful.
Yeah, look at that.
How do you make them thicker? How do you make them thicker, Tom?
Gardner here.
I will. Not when he's busy, but I'll tell you what. I got suggestions. Not myself, but pancakes are the same.
Really?
Yeah, and I got whole different ways of doing it.
Do you really?
Yeah, which that's falafel oil.
It's a blending of souls.
I really like those.
Oh, you're not letting everyone cook their own or anything like that?
No. It's the way you prepare them. I think it's easier.
Uh-huh.
And more less labor intensive. And more likely to pop up.
Lay it on us. We want to hear it.
Gardner does.
I figured you might.
I'm sorry. I got a little momentarily sidetracked and.
A little praise for that, that's all.
Probably cilantro. Do we have cilantro in our pancakes?
Hey, look at that.
I know. So we're going to attract flies over here by pouring off this blue juice.
Jared, is that your bathing suit?
Hmm? No, if anybody else can wear underpants, right? So can I. There's no comfortable in a bathing suit.
Now's a good time to check your fruit salad and see how it's holding up. Because you can stick more fruit in your salad. And nobody had run out.
We can do it. If it's rough water, everybody feels like shit.
The other thing I wanted to mention is...
Kitchen.
Wait a minute. Okay.
Patrick and I set up this kitchen, and it's not especially great. And they seem to be doing pretty well. It needs some attention. We're starting to run out of stuff. But over here, I took a 6-foot platform piece out of the bus, and I've got it propped up. I encouraged people down to the beach earlier today. What we don't want is a funky dishwashing scene. We've got good soap. We're a little heavy on the bleach. This is amazing. That's way too much bleach. Someone's used way too much bleach there. to the point where you almost want to be careful. You get that much bleach, it's going to at least make things taste like bleach. And I think I'm going to change this out, actually. And but one 5-gallon bucket is all the bleach you need in cold water. You don't. So in general, on your kitchens here, you do in Baja, where water is short and it's a long way to the beach. We do a pre-rinse. That's a good idea anywhere. I think most of the buses are carrying 4. Then we do soapy water. Should be hot. Doesn't have to be. Then we do a clear rinse, and then we do a bleach dip. And the bleach dip is the important thing. But in general, I'm kind of proud of this. I took the time to do this. It's amazing. Our utensils are still laying on the ground over there. 3 days later, the utensils are still laying on the ground in a plastic toolbox. I mean, that is not a credit to me. It's kind of pathetic. We're wandering to both sides of the camp for utensils. I think I'm going to go get them right now. Put them where they belong. I put up with this for 3 days, watching people kick sand in it. It was up to me to move it. I'm the driver. But instead, I just left it. When we could have the stuff lined up right here. I don't get it. Well, so I'll just put them over here. I don't do too many dishes.
Do you want us to do them? Is that what, is that what the hint is?
No, I hope someone does them. We're going to leave them just like that and pray that somebody does them.
Habanero.
See. Oh, wow, Patrick. That's great. Look at that.
Your shirt? Oh, fantastic.
Look
Let
at
me
Patrick.
get that.
He makes his shirts. That's beautiful, Patrick.
Incredible.
That's great. Well, you're going to put these T-shirt brokers out of business that are wandering up and down this beach.
Oh, yeah.
You're a little bit fortunate, Patrick, because you've got a lot of room for copy. How are you going to squeeze? How are you going to squeeze that onto this much? You can overlay it.
Put the words on.
You don't know free
here's another one, huh?
She could put it on the back, though.
Yeah, I got pens. I got fabric pens. You can handwrite it. Yeah.
Green Tortoise? Green Tortoise? Oh, that's neat. Yeah, let's have a nice picture.
More onto the subject of, incidentally, a few people have said to me those are the best pancakes they ever ate. I got a couple of those. That was a solicited comment. I think I should look toward my recipe a little, see how I can improve it. They're not good enough. You can bring the house down if you get it right. Fresh squeezed orange juice. There's a tendency company-wide to load gallons and gallons and gallons of juice aboard in glass containers, stick it on the roof, overload the roof, make the roof rock. It's crazy. We should be dealing with local produce. It comes in its own biodegradable container. It tastes better, and you don't have this, and you don't of the logistics of hauling that much juice and disposing of that much glass, plus the money. A large bag, an 80-kilo bag, one that a guy like me can barely get over, can hardly pick up and get on his shoulder and run down a La Paz street with, probably costs about $10. And down in Baja, out of 3 oranges, you can usually get a 10 to 12-ounce serving. We got a little problem here. I made my deal ahead of time for the Eclipse food. Mayo's mother, she dumped a lot of bad food on me. In La Paz, they were stuck with food they'd overbought. The Eclipse flopped. It's kind of flopped. It's a beautiful time and all that, but they don't have the people here they thought. And she gave me some pretty old oranges. And the first thing I did with them was let them hang out in the sun for a couple of days. And then I left them in the bus where people tromped through them. And then I started to realize I had an orange problem, and maintenance problem yesterday. I went through the big yellow bags. Here's a yellow bag right here. I mean, this is a La Paz bag of oranges. That's a hell of a bag of orange. The Constitution bag is smaller and cheaper, and in Constitution is where the oranges are grown. But there's a La Paz bag. And then I went through and I stuck them, I took out the hard ones and put them in milk cartons. And now I'm starting to, I'm actually going to taste my orange juice.
They're medium, small, or large.
It's still absolutely fine. It's perfect. The heck out of this oranges. Because we got a half case there, a half milk carton, and a full milk carton over there. We're going to run out of juice on this trip, so I'm going to mention the juice.
How about the 40? I didn't think of that. No one else would, but you're right.
Is it possible you could do that on my underwear? We need help. We need help eating the orange juice.
Inside or outside?
If you go through these two boxes and pick out the firm ones, it's still good.
Cost extra.
Don't juice the soft ones. Juice fine. It's very sweet if you juice the firm ones. Nobody listens.
Well, it's going in one ear. You never know how much people will hear.
That's my another thing I've done wrong on this trip that I always yell at people for is I haven't set up an information station over there. It did come there. We signed up for boat rides.
Last call on Pancake.
We signed up for boat rides. Ralph did us there. But there's no reason in the world, if we taped to the windows, we should tape to the aluminum window frames, not to the paint. But if we could set up an information board, and I could have had stuff a little bit more clearly announced, cruise ship style. And that cuts down a lot of hassle on the driver. If you get people coming up to you asking the same question that you may have already talked about, it gets on your nerves. But if you can, in half the time it takes to say it twice, you can write it down. And I should have done that a little earlier. I should have done that earlier. Clipboard would be a good idea on a spring.
You'd like to make your own? Okay, good. I would like help.
No matter what you do, no matter how hard you work, there's still more to do.
It all day. I've got to run down and
There's an eclipse pancake.
Clever lad. I think I'll have two.
At this stage, the meal's about done. We seem to be doing a pretty good job here, but it might be time to make an announcement. I said last night, if you hadn't worked in the kitchen yet, now's a perfect chance to clean up. I'm one of the sloppiest cooks on the road, and the place is a mess. So
start cleaning.
I've been hiding dirty dishes everywhere. So if you look around and start to clean,
It will be appreciated, and if you don't, you will be punished.
Ken gets honorable mention this morning. He put in lots of time, I noticed, over there.
Thank you. And Ralph. And that